दिल्ली पुलिस ने तमीज सिखा रहा है ना? ये लीजिए, ये लो, ये ले।
Today we are with a very interesting personality, Dr. Sayeed Alam sahab, जो अभी बिल्कुल पहचान में नहीं आ रहे because the way we saw you just a few minutes back dressed in costume as Mirza Ghalib. This has been the longest, I would like to say one of the longest comedy shows,
The
comedy plays that we've
longest
had in
comedy
India.
show in the sense that the longest comedy show by a particular theatre group. It's running since 1997.
Yes.
So you can say arguably the longest
Right.
comedy show by a particular theatre group.
Okay.
And then interestingly, we have not allowed anyone else to stage this play. I have not shared the script with any theatre group.
Okay.
So all those 446 shows have been done by Peros Troupe only from 1997. So
Alright.
almost of the last 20 years we have
Exactly.
been doing this production.
Yes, in fact, you must have just had your 20th anniversary for this show.
We had it last year actually. It is,
Yes,
it is
last
the
year.
21st year. I think we had the first show in 1996, December 1996, and ever since we have been performing this.
So the play is a very interesting concept of famous poet Mirza Ghalib taking rebirth in today's times. But given the fact that the play has been running for 20 long years, it requires a lot of updating with respect to bringing in context with today's times, with everyday, I think, political changes, because a lot of that sarcasm, that humor that comes in from that. So has that also been a non-stop process of continuously modifying?
It has been. It has been. I mean, and the first thing I do in the morning when the play is going to be staged, I go through the newspaper.
Right.
My rehearsals are watching TV. My rehearsals are reading,
Watching the news.
watching the news, reading the newspapers, reading the analysis, editorial. So, being a writer, also being an actor, and not only me but almost all the actors of this group, they have to be politically aware.
Right.
They have to be. They must know what is. It's not a typical theatrical performance where
Yes.
you are aloof from everything else and you are rehearsing a play. It's not a. I don't call it a historical play. It's a contemporary play.
Exactly.
So we have to be well versed with the latest political, social, and economic developments.
Right. So, but why was it so important? Because was that also the character of Mirza Ghalib's poetry, to be talking about his times, of being aware socially, politically?
Which Ghalib
Yeah.
was as a human being,
Yes.
not necessarily as a poet. And the tradition was saying ghazal and saying qasida. So you obviously could not include the contemporary affairs those days in your creative writings. But as a letter writer, as a human being, he has been talking about political developments. He's been talking about. See, the concept behind this play is that Ghalib was actually in his own times modern in outlook.
Right.
So when he went to Calcutta, he loved the apartment system. He talked greatly about inventions, scientific developments. So Ghalib himself, while writing his letters, he talks about introduction of railways. He talks
Okay.
about electricity.
Wow.
So he was as against the general perception about him. He was quite modern in his approach. Quite modern. Quite ahead of his time, and that reflects in his poetry also.
Okay.
This is why his poetry does not follow the masters. He chose his own style, his own because he was well ahead of his time in terms of his approach to life.
Right.
And
Okay.
this is what
And
is
that
actually,
reflected in
this
his
is what we have shown in this play. Despite undergoing lots of problems and facing lots of troubles when he takes rebirth, what he would finally do, he would adapt himself to the
Immediately.
modern times.
And pick up the lingo, pick up the
lingo.
language.
This is
Right.
this
Yeah.
is what he did in his time. Those days, Urdu prose had to be very, very complex. It was Persianized. But when he started writing letters, I mean, see, I call him. He was the one who invented English. would you believe that he used to write the English names of the month?
Oh my.
Would anybody ever believe that he used a word in his letters in, say, mid 19th century, which is being used for last 20 years only, and that is postpaid?
What?
Will you believe that he has written postpaid in his Urdu letter?
No,
to
I can't.
Yes, and see, and postpaid,
And to write it in
postpaid he has written that in
Pay
Urdu.
or
Yes,
seen
yes,
or-
pay, ye and day, and postpay, wow, seen te, and that is to refer to bearing letter, where the payment is made when the letter is received.
Received, okay.
So the postpaid was the term used for bearing letters.
Okay.
So, but he has used this word. He has used this word, postpaid, train, 13 जनवरी, 17 जनवरी,
अच्छा.
मार्च, अप्रैल,
But आपके
मई.
इस प्ले से आपको लगता है कि in your audience are you reintroducing part of Ghalib to them, or do you think they're going back home and referring to his couplets? And
I think
Does
what
that have an
yes,
impact?
yes.
Yeah.
This is, I'm not reintroducing. I am regenerating today's people's interest in Ghalib.
Okay.
In Ghalib. And see, apart from Ghalib in New Delhi, we have been doing 4 plays on Ghalib. So we have been doing Ghalib in New Delhi, then we have been doing a play called Ghalib, that is on his life and times, and then we have been doing a play Ghalib Ke Khat, which is from the perspective of his wife. Ghalib as a shauhar, Ghalib as a husband. He must have been a great poet, he must have been a great letter writer, great scholar, everything, but was he a good husband as well?
Right.
So then
So I think you've touched upon all aspects of his personality.
see, you
through all your
can't do
plays.
justice with him while doing just one play.
Just one aspect, exactly.
So, see, short of resources, I cannot come up with a
Yeah.
long serial on
But I
Ghalib,
must
which
say
Gulzar
that-
Sahib has already done.
Right.
So this is
But
what I
Ghalib
thought.
in Delhi is a classic in itself. And it's
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's going to be spoken about in several years to come, and will continue to remain active here with the audiences because you've made it so.
Pray that I
Absolutely.
remain alive. My
We take it
members of my
ahead to
group.
space age as well. So we'll probably have something Ghalib in space age. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Sayeed
thank
Alam
you,
sir.
thank you,
It's
thank you.
been an
बहुत
honor.
बहुत शुक्रिया.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being with us here at Hunar TV.
Ghalib at the rate of hotmail.com.